whites in the car. You know, a long walk back, or run back I should say. Our new clamps. That's good, better than elastic bands. Let's see what brushes I've forgotten today. Right, let's go. We're going to do a quick oil painting on the board, looking over to Gwithian beach. It's a bit dull. It was nice earlier, just my luck. We've got to be quick because they're going to shut the car park at 9 o'clock, so we've got to watch the bloke doesn't come in his van and lock us in. Otherwise it's a long walk back home. Right, wish me luck, here we go.
Well, here we go. This is a bit of plein air oil painting. I've got a board, piece of MDF with muslin glued to it. It's about 50 by 40 centimetres in size. I'm just starting off with some thin paint, lots of terps in it, just to get it covering this white surface as quick as possible. I'm starting with a white board today. I didn't have a chance to put any ground colour on, and I've been using white as my surface more and more just recently. I haven't always for years used ground colours. I quite enjoy this white surface. Got something in quickly for the sky, just mapping in the sea. Looking over towards Gwithian there, and you can see St Ives in the background there, just across the water. Just mixing up some greys. It's quite a dull evening and very windy on top of this hill. We're opposite the lighthouse at Godrevy. And so, yeah, even though it was May, it was actually quite cold, so that's why I've got my gloves on and a hat and my painting coat. It was good fun though. Paint dries pretty quick, the first layer, which is thin with terps. I was in a bit of a rush, obviously, because I've explained earlier about the car parking situation, so I was under quite a bit of pressure to get this get something knocked off as quick as possible. So I just mapped in those the sky and the water, and I'm just going to quickly map in this land area where the beach runs along towards Hale. Just mixed up some earthy greens and just loosely block those in. Still mixing the paint with terps, so those are slightly thicker for this section. As you can see, I've got the French Easel out today. That's what I've been taking out for all my recent painting trips, well, for the last year or so since I bought it off eBay. It's a Julian easel, lovely sturdy box which withstands these windy conditions up here at Godrevy. Now you can just about see the surface of the muslin, which provides a little bit of tooth for the brush and the paint. I'm not a massive fan of canvas glued to board, but this muslin just gives me enough of a tooth without having the weave of the canvas. I use either smooth boards or this surface or canvas itself on a stretcher bar. Just trying to put in some of this beach here, which runs along. Lovely beach, very popular with people, surfers, kite surfers. Probably because of that's why it's always windy. You can see I'll grip the board into the little hooks that are on the French easel. You can see it well there, it just grips in really nicely, very sturdy surface then to paint on in this windy conditions. And there's the panoramic view looking up to the north there, up towards Hell's Mouth, swinging round. There's your Godrevy Lighthouse. There's St Ives, that's St Ives Bay. You've got Carbis Bay just there. You're swinging around Porth Kidney and Mexico Towns, and now you're into Gwithian. Here I'm just trying to put some of these dark rocks in, mixing up like a alizarin crimson with raw sienna. There's the raw sienna going into the alizarin crimson. A bit of cadmium orange is quite nice as well. You can see the grips holding that palette nice and steady there, which is a good job. I sort of blown off into the sea. And I've got a couple of little dippers look on the side of the palette. That's where I hold the terps. I don't mind using terps outside. There's plenty of ventilation there, so no problem with the fumes. And I don't tend to wear these plastic painting gloves either. Are old school. Don't get a lot of paint on the fingers. Me being a clown as usual. Yeah, they're keeping an eye on the time there. The car park shutting at 9. Then we're just putting in some of that thrift, the sea pinks, and there's a little area of rocks and pebbles, big pebbles, just on that upper end of the beach there, near the dunes. So I'm just putting in a light grey to give the impression of that. So just filling in some of those white areas at this point. The dog looking on. Getting a bit chilly at this point in that wind. You can hear the wind through the mic. A skylark. The skylark telling us off there. Or a rock pipit, not quite sure.
It's not a pretty sight.
So the beach, the sand on the beach was must have been drying out as it was starting to change colour. I'd only been there about 45 minutes at this point, and the sand had started to change colour. Either that or the quality of the light was different. And they're just having a bit of fun here with some of these different colours in the sea. Sort of grey, blue greens mixed up with, mixing these up with this lemon yellow, bit of violet, and some of the dark rocks there, picking out the real darks now with a nice cobalt blue, cadmium orange mix. Really quite nice for the darks in there. It matched it quite well. It's my hand moving around in the wind. Very difficult to try and paint with an outstretched arm in that wind knocking you all over the place. And I do like to use the other end of the brush sometimes just to scratch a few marks in here and there. Just putting a few darker areas in on the foreground, which is nearest to me. Got a nice sap green in there. I don't usually use pre-mixed greens, but sometimes the sap green just it fits the bill perfectly. Obviously, mix it with something else, just to mix it with a bit of red or something, alizarin crimson or cabin red, just to take the edge off it, knock it back a little bit. But yeah, it's quite a handy colour to take with you when you're plein air painting, especially with all this green around at the moment. What I could see, which I particularly liked at the moment, was this bright yellow strip on the left of the painting there. You can see it. Must have been some, I'm not sure what type of fields there would have been, but they're catching the light quite nicely. What little bit of light there was. You can see I put quite thick opaque paint there in that yellow, bright yellow, or that sort of lemony yellow streak. If you've got any little areas like I'm doing at the moment, there was buildings along there, you tend to put more opaque paint and you just lay it on a bit thicker to get them to stand out more. This old painting would have been done with, I think, probably used 3 brushes for this. You just sort of you tend to just put some paint on, you either mix new colour with the brush that's just been wiped off with a rag, or if you want a cleaner colour, you tend to just dip it in your terps, wash all that paint off after cleaning with the rag first, and then you reuse the same brush again. So although I've probably got about 15 brushes in that little brush pouch that you saw me open at the beginning of the video, I probably only used 2 or 3 for the whole painting. And at the end of the brush as well, look, very useful. Let me just stroking in a few of these lighter areas where the foam is and the waves are coming in. Again, using opaque white, titanium white for that opaque paint, with a little hint of either a lemon yellow, violet, or an ultramarine blue, just a tint into that white, make it a bit more interesting.
Well done. Quick impression of what it's like. It's very freezing, windy, top of the hill. That's the view towards Gwithian Beach from opposite the lighthouse, which is not all to do with it lighting up. Might light the painting up for you. Right, well that's it. Bye bye now.
And that was that. I was trying to explain there that it was very cold, and that's what we finished up with at the scene. Then I let it dry for about a week, and then just added a few bits into it in the studio, and that's what I ended up with. Just changed the sky a bit, just added some more thicker paint in certain places, and I did all that from memory and just imagination for a bit of fun, but I felt it needed a bit of a lift.
Right, time to go. Try and get this back in one piece.
And that's the other little problem you have when you painted plein air in oils, is getting your paintings home in one piece without smearing the paint off. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one. Shame the light wasn't better, but we go out in all weathers and just have fun. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.